what I would like to talk to you about is how we've approached augmented reality and what we think the future is going to be relative to these enterprise applications. So the first thing is that we're an interactive applications company. We provide applications to help large companies solve the problem of explaining their complex solutions to their potential customers. When a big company like IBM or Cisco or a big medical diagnostic company or an industrial company is selling very complex solutions, hardware and software, they often have difficulty explaining what their competitive differentiation is. And so we build applications to help the sales and marketing teams solve that problem. So a lot of our customers have large, complex physical equipment. And in this context, they need to be able to explain to their customers how that equipment is going to be better for them, and then physically how it's going to fit in their environments. Think, for example, about an MRI device in a radiology department at a hospital. It's great to know what the new technology is in terms of the image quality and the user experience, but part of the buying process for those solutions is it going to fit into our radiology center? And if it is, how's it going to work? So what we do is we solve a very specific problem of helping sales and marketing teams use augmented reality to help their customers understand how these very complex solutions are going to fit into their workplaces. We've learned some lessons along the way, and I'm going to show you some examples. We're trying to get it hooked up here, but for whatever reason it isn't working, so I'm going to show you a little screen. There's a telescopic lens under your chair, so you can bring that up and you'll see the little screen, but I'll show you the example. I'm happy to show you afterwards as well. The one lesson that we've learned is if you're selling to enterprises, you can't sell technology. You have to sell a solution to a problem. Augmented reality is cool, but we have a big sign in our office that says nobody buys cool, because our customers are all big companies, and although people are engaging in a very interactive way with their personal solutions, they're not going to spend any money as a company just because something is cool. So what does that particular technology do to help solve an actual problem? So that's one of the lessons we learned. The second lesson we learned is that you can't just build an AR app independent of everything else that people are doing. So if you've got a sales force that's already out there talking to customers and helping them solve problems, the augmented reality solution has got to fit into that ecosystem. You can't go out and say, let's build a brand new thing. Now stop what you're doing when you're engaging with a customer. Let's go over here and do augmented reality. It's got to be part of that process. And so one of the lessons we learned is we've got to create a platform rather than a point solution. The platform has to include augmented reality, and it might include other things like virtual reality and potentially other technologies as well. But the purpose of having the platform is that you integrate the way that you approach the customer, and so that the level of engagement is suited directly to what they need at that time. Does augmented reality help me understand better why I should buy your product? And if the answer is yes, then let's use augmented reality. If the answer is no, don't use it as a gimmick. So let me give you an example. I'm going to actually show you, although you won't be able to see it. This is a Google Tango device. It's the only commercial one that's available right now. It's a Lenovo Tango device. I don't know if anybody's ever seen any of these. But what it does is it allows us to create a real-time depth map of the room as we're scanning around. So if I were, let's say, for example, to try to put a large physical device here, what this allows me to do is it allows me to use the application that I've already created. This is the Kaon application that we did create for Cisco, and they're using it every day, and it does 3D interactive product models, and you can interact with them and open the doors and take out components, and it helps the sales and the customer person actually understand what the value of that is. But what if I wanted to put that right here and show the customer what it looks like? We go into AR mode. It's going to go into its camera mode, and I'm going to put it right there. Now, that device is actually right there. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the device is on the stage. Now I'm going to walk around the device, and you can actually see the back. You can see it from the side, and if I show it to you from this angle, you're going to be able to see what that product would look like from that angle. So the customer can actually see it. It's persistent. I didn't need a marker. I didn't need to say where it's going to go. I can turn the camera around, I can take a picture of you, and then I can bring it back and the product is still there. So the purpose of doing these kinds of applications is that as part of the explanation of why this particular product is better or how it works, I can use augmented reality in your environment, if this is your data center or your hospital or your office or your refinery. How is this solution going to fit into your refinery, and will I be able to fit in the back to actually do some maintenance? So let me see. I'm going to walk around the back. Ah, yes, there's enough room back here. I can go in and I can operate this piece of equipment. It is to scale, so it's exactly the right dimensions, and it understands its relationship with the rest of the scene. So it's not only to scale, but it's dimensionally accurate with the rest of the room. So this is an example of an augmented reality application that customers can actually derive some real benefit from. Now there is a cool factor. One of the things that we learned as we started to deploy this around the world is they can put these devices anywhere. So they put them next to the Eiffel Tower, they put them by the Colosseum, they put them by the Great Wall of China, and they asked us, can you develop a capability to take a picture of me with my lab instrument next to the Great Wall of China? So we actually have a little camera capability, and you can do that, and that's part of that cool factor. But one of the things I'm going to show you, you'll see it, you can't see it up there, unfortunately, is I took a video of this in my hotel room, and you can see the device, and you can see it, but there's a mirror. It's not in the mirror. All right, so this is the Harry Potter version, right? Or the vampire version, depending on who you are. So the purpose actually is to help create the sense of what augmented reality can do to help us understand better the real world around us and the potential for the real world by blending, as our friend from Magic Leap said yesterday, the atoms with the photons. So in this example, you can't really tell, other than the mirror, which I put there as a specific device, what's real and what's the augmented part, and that's the purpose of what we're trying to accomplish. So the thing that we're looking at is how can we use these technologies. We do the same thing. We partnered with Google to deploy these to a variety of different enterprises, and also to use virtual reality to accomplish the right kind of problem solving for the right kind of problem. So when it makes sense for somebody to put a physical product in a physical location, use augmented reality. When it makes sense to put somebody inside a virtual world to understand that product better, use virtual reality. And because we're looking at it as a platform, not a point solution, this application that I just showed you is not just an augmented reality application. They use this every day to work with their customers to help identify how they can use these products and what purpose they apply to and what differentiation they have. And when augmented reality is needed, they just go into the augmented reality function. So I think what's going to happen in the enterprise is we're going to use all of the technologies that are being developed to ultimately develop real-world practical problem-solving tools that fit into a platform, a jigsaw puzzle, and this is one of the pieces of an enterprise solution. I don't think we're going to end up with AR applications that stand alone, whether they're headset-based or tablet-based. I think we're going to end up with a platform of solutions that allow us to use these technologies to the best advantage to help solve those very specific problems. Thank you.